Hey, thanks for joining us with Roger That Chronicles, where veterans, we talk about issues that are of interest that we believe to veterans. My name is Rick Prescott.
I'm Mike Ruffler.
And I am Jason Hertha, Marine Corps veteran. And if you like what you hear, please hit the like, share, subscribe button, hit the bell notification for future videos for the YouTube channel, and also follow us on Apple, Twitch, Twitter, Spotify. Pretty sure I got them all. And thanks 216 The Net for producing this. And behind the camera over there is Drew. All right.
And our special guest today is busy. I guess he's out there collecting toys for Tots.
That's it. We're going to have Gunnery Sergeant Walter Hawkins with Mag 48 Toys for Tots here today, but he's indisposed.
UA.
So, yep, he's AWOL.
And
What's that
JP
Article 86.
86 of the UCMJ.
And
So,
JP.
Yep, there it is.
Maybe.
Hey.
Maybe special court.
Could be.
Could be.
That's right.
Either you pay or play. So one of the two.
Well, you know what? If he was standing in front of this board, he would lose a strike.
Yep.
But gunnies do that type of thing. You know, they just go to about they just
Do whatever.
Yeah. Oh, sorry, Mike. He was a gunny.
And just keep in mind, he can probably turn around and kick everybody's ass by himself.
I don't know. I'm a trained killer. I keep telling my wife that.
Yeah, well, she ain't buying it. Neither are your kids.
Yeah.
That's why they got the dog.
Hey, man, what did you think of that Marine Corps ball we just did the other night?
I'm glad it's over.
Yeah. Well, you participated. You practically planned the whole bloody thing. You organized the seats, the plates, assigned the plates to the people, and so forth. And what did we end up having? Something like 366 or something like that.
Yeah,
people.
we had 366 people at the event, and we still had people dancing at the end of the night. The only bad part was when everybody wanted to go to the after party, the bar was closed.
Wah, wah, wah.
Not a problem. We brought our own booze and opened up the bar anyway.
Of course.
I was told that you guys left, like somebody got behind the bar and still got access to all the glasses and this and that. And when you guys left, you left the bar.
If we would have encouraged him, he would have got the alcohol too.
I remember one year we were there at the ball, and this guy that was manning one of the bars, we had two bars going, and this fellow walked away from the bar, and they had a lineup, and I decided, yeah, he's gone. So I get behind the bar, and I started, what do you want? Rum and Coke, no problem. Bacardi, yep, yeah. And the guy came back, and it was his bar, but I'm manning it, and that dude, he became unglued. He was mad enough. I couldn't believe it. I was like, okay. I had to back off and put my hands in the air. Please don't hit me.
Was he wearing like one of them bartender bow ties?
Well, yeah, it was one of those types of things.
So mad that it was starting to spin around with steam coming out of his ears.
I guess bartenders don't like it when you goof around with their booze sort of thing.
No.
So
You ever see the movie Bad Santa?
Bad Santa?
Bad Santa.
I can't say I have.
It's hilarious. Well, it's basically about a drunken Santa, safe cracker, but there's a thing in the beginning of the movie is like, well, I'm getting out of the robbing or safe cracking business or whatever, and you see him at a bar mixing stuff up, and it turns out it's not his bar, it's just him making drinks, and then the actual bartender comes by, is like, get the F out of here, what are you doing? Takes a big old drink, is like, F you. Billy Bob Thornton. So very, very raunchy humor.
Well, you gotta understand too is that, especially if the mayor of Crystal Lake would have shown up, he's in charge of the liquor commission, and if you were behind the bar, they lose their liquor license.
Oh, no doubt about it. I knew everybody. There's various levels, dynamics here that can,
or you can pay them off. But this isn't.
Yeah, but he's not.
Chicago, right?
Yeah, he's not Chicago.
This isn't Chicago.
Now, did you guys help set that entire event up, or is that part of something that you guys do?
That entire event was planned. We partnered up with the Recruit Station Chicago, which is encompasses I forget how many Marines are there.
100 Marines.
Yeah, the recruiters in this region. So we partnered up with them to have the ball. So they did certain things. They did some things. They coordinated, for example, their own people, and then all of that information was given to Mike. Mike assigned the plates, seats, and the people together, groups and so forth. And then, but the Marine Corps guys, I think they pretty much controlled, or they had artistic rights, if you will, over the actual ceremonial side of it, because they're experts at that anyway. And we could do that, but it just took some of the responsibility off of us. We took the hard stuff, and they took the easy stuff.
Oh, of course, right?
Oh yeah.
Well, that sounds like a lot of moving parts.
Well, you know what? Mike did this practically single-handedly. Wow. And I'm telling you, the way the ball turned out, the location, set up the location, talk to them about the arrangements and so forth. And I don't want to go on about it, but just the seating arrangements and this and that. It's amazing there's so many moving parts, and it's amazing what he was able to accomplish. That ball went really, really well.
Flawless.
Yeah.
It's awesome.
Well, we did. Nothing is ever flawless. You always have glitches. Like there's a party next door. There's music.
Yeah,
involved.
but isn't that like you see the flaw, but the guest's zone, right?
No,
it was covered up pretty good.
It was beautifully done. The cake cutting ceremony was amazing. One of our own, Serdal, was the oldest Marine there, and I got video of him, and he's older than Folgers Coffee, for crying out loud. And they gave him the cake, and when it came time for him to take the bite out of the cake, his hands are shaking and this and that. It looked like, hoorah! Oldest Marine, you barely stand, but he's there, and he's in uniform.
And he's still gonna do
it. Looked great.
Parkinson was do that.
Well, I didn't realize he had Parkinson's. Oh wow, son of a gun!
And how old is Folgers Coffee?
20 years old.
Wow.
Rick, do you remember when Folgers was first?
Yeah.
200 years ago.
I remember I was about 5 years old, and I smelled my first coffee, and it was Folgers. They opened up the can and went, "Man, this stuff smells good."
Yeah.
And that's what I drink.
Yeah.
Cheers.
Nintendo actually started in the 1800s.
What?
Yep.
How'd you get that from Folgers Coffee to Nintendo?
Because you said it was old as dirt.
Yeah.
Welcome to Roger That Chronicles.
But you know what, though? Hats off to you, Mike. Nice job.
We had a lot more people that helped this year than we had last year.
Well, yeah, that's true.
Yeah, because you got to consider yourself and Jason and we had Breslin and Tim Collins.
Mm.
Of course, we had plenty of people that gave their opinion, but give your opinion, but you don't give a explanation. It's like, don't complain.
You know what? Those special thanks goes out to the various businesses in our local community that sponsored by providing funds for this thing to raise some money for it, and also various detachments of different veterans groups throughout the state that they participated by donating $25 here, $150 there, and all of that really helped in making this a better success.
We had 22 veterans organization. We had Bunker Hill. We had Bolo.
Yep, Bolo Museum.
Jim Milady.
Yep.
We had Liberty Storage. Seemed like there was somebody else too. What, you had another car?
There's another. There's another car dealership.
Oh yeah, the car dealership out of the Hyundai dealership out of Huntley.
What was it?
Oh, Dundee.
I thought it was Huntley.
Hyundai. Hyundai.
You know what? I lived in Canada for 20-something years, and that's what they call it up there. So forgive me. You know, I still say "hey" every once in a while. I get caught.
Yeah.
So anyway, moving right along.
It's a big increase from last year. We had 276 last year, and this time 366.
Wow, it's almost 100 people more there.
Yeah.
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 But we're building towards the 250th anniversary of the Marine Corps in 2 years. That's got to be the biggest ball.
Imagine this: 250 years of the United States Marine Corps, and at that Marine Corps ball is going to be amazing. Listen, I hear that they're going to be doing some stuff out Philadelphia way, Tons Tavern, the whole 9 yards. The Marine Corps, the Navy's going to get involved, all of this type of thing. Guess where I'm going to go? I'm heading out. I got to be a part of that.
Actually, I got something this morning about that. They're getting ready to buy the property. It's like 250 feet away from the original spot of Ton Tavern.
Wow. Well,
they plan on having the grand opening on 10 November.
Wait. Who's buying the property?
The non-profit group that I had mentioned several months ago.
Oh, they're gonna rebuild the Old Ton Tavern bar
And
based on old specs.
right,
Oh man, is that gonna happen?
I got a thing today. There, everything's a go. There's going to be 1,500 coffee mugs. I don't know I didn't look at the price, but I didn't want to get premature because that stuff gets blasted out. Next, you know, everyone's kind of you get overwhelmed. I
Right.
got to plan this out before it grows its legs and come up with different variations and
Right.
interpretations and
Right.
all kinds of off the wall crap. Because it can get really goofed up, and I spend more time trying to explain something than it is to execute it. So I didn't want to, you know, this.
So this is in the works. It's a work in progress.
But it's
so-
stuff I got just this morning.
You know, that sounds very exciting though.
Mhm.
Well,
That
if you
sounds
go
exciting.
on,
You know, you think about it, the current mecca for us, I think, is the Marine Corps Memorial at Arlington, right near the gate of Arlington area. And I think if they rebuild the Ton Tavern kind of thing, I think we may have another mecca.
It already is. It actually is. The foundation that's putting this together, they say you can sit there at the plaque that they have on the street by Ton Tavern,
Right.
and all day long you'll see people jumping out and doing a freaking selfie.
Yeah, that would be me.
Yeah. So
The only difference is I cause an accident.
but it's going to be kind of interesting because we're also trying, you know, the 250th is, we're trying to make it where it's all nationwide. Now, the Commandant of the Marine Corps has been told by the Secretary of Navy they will do their ball in Philadelphia.
Beautiful.
The question is, you know, you think about how many hundreds of thousands of Marines are out there. Are you really going to get a spot, or are you just going to be able to watch from a distance?
Better start planning now.
And the tickets won't be cheap.
No, they won't. But if you get them now, you book it in, you pay for it now. I wonder now, you know, because
Talk about getting into the ball will not be cheap.
getting into the ball per se. Yeah, I'm
Yeah.
thinking of hotels and other venues.
And if they're going to have enough space for it. See, what happens in Philadelphia every year from the people from Philly is that there's actually a block party on the Marine Corps birthday in Philadelphia.
Oh,
And they have like 5,000 people on the streets, partying in the streets every year. So where are they going to have a place that's going to have it big enough to hold enough people?
right.
They have the same problem we have in Chicago. You know, we're not going down to McCormick Place because the mayor won't let us take guns. You know, but the only other place I can see in Illinois would be the Donald E. Stevens Convention Center. Of course, they got like 7 hotels right by there. You know, but anyway, there's a lot of things going in there that people may not want to go down there for the actual day of the event,
Right.
but there's before or after, because
Right.
starting in 2025, starting the Navy birthday all the way up to the Marine birthday, they're going to have ships in there. They're going to have old ships like the
Right.
Constitution probably be brought down, and they're going to bring all kinds of stuff in there for that whole month.
Like tall ships and all that,
Right,
cannons and you name it.
right. And more importantly is that, you know, trying to get it where, you know, on our part is that by doing something as big as we can here is pull all the veterans out of the network. Because this is like the one time a year. You can go to Philadelphia and you be part of the big crowd so you can say you're there, but those people aren't joining back this way.
Right.
And
Right.
so there's going to be multiple parties all over the United States because there's a lot of people that just won't go because of health reasons.
Well, they can't go for, you know,
Work,
multitudes.
And on top of it, November 10th is actually a Monday. So it's a work day for people that are still in the working age
Yeah.
have to take a vacation.
Well, the big thing is they're going to have a big event,
Mhm.
and it's going to be probably the biggest event that the Marine Corps has ever done as far as a public event is concerned. So this is going to be pretty. It's going to be pretty exciting. I plan on getting on board, and I don't know what I'm going to do. Stay at a hotel, take the camper out there, do whatever, but got to come up with a plan. And
Right.
maybe what we should do is maybe find out from Marines in the area and other veterans. Hey, you guys want to go to this? And now we rent a bus and we get somebody to haul us down there so we can be plastered by the time we get there.
I'll charge you all $100 flat rate each.
Can you drive a bus?
No, but I can learn. I can get a,
He will that day.
I'll get a.
We got Berto.
Yeah, that's
Oh,
right.
yeah,
He has
that's
a
right.
CDL.
Yeah.
Yeah, but you know what? He might have to drive the school bus that day.
That's right. He's the bus driver now. That's funny.
Maybe we can get him to acquire a school bus. Wink, wink. So,
No, you know how uncomfortable those school buses are?
oh yeah,
I'm not
Well,
driving from here to Washington. Or
I like the wink
Philadelphia.
wink comment.
Yeah.
That worked out well. Yeah.
The what now?
He goes wink
wink,
wink.
wink.
Wink, wink.
Acquire a school bus.
Right.
It may not be all in one piece when we bring it back. So. Well, I mean, I have some pull in Arlington over there, so I can talk to.
Yeah, Sergeant Major over there.
Absolutely. So
How did that happen?
I
That
have
was an
no
amazing
idea.
experience.
I have to pull up my old boot camp little photo book or whatever and track him down in there.
Folks,
so.
what we're talking about is that we had gone to Arlington National Cemetery to a funeral of one of our own. It was a Sergeant Major, and the 8th and I we bumped into the Sergeant Major in charge of the Marine Barracks in Washington D.C. And he looks over at Jason. He goes, "Where'd you go to boot camp?" And all of a sudden, they struck up a conversation to find out that he was a drill instructor in that series back in, I think, 2004.
Yep.
And he remembered Jason. Of course,
Started-
take a look at Jason. Once you see that face, you'll never forget it.
For our viewers, 8th and I is the oldest post in the Corps since 1801.
1801. Yeah, under Thomas Jefferson, I think it was that established that.
Mhm.
And there's a legend that during the time of the War of 1812, when the British burned our Capitol building, they left that barracks standing, primarily because the Marines had and a few sailors had done a great job in fighting them, stopping them from getting to Washington D.C. And they respected that so much they allowed their barracks to stand. So they were overrun simply because of numbers, like a division against a battalion kind of thing.
Okay, there you go, buddy.
Well, I'm overdoing it a little bit. I don't know how big they were, but they were overwhelmed simply by British numbers.
And of course, that leads into why do we call it the White House? Well, all
Repainted.
they had to paint over the fire.
All the
burned.
soot marks.
all they had was white at the time. So there we go.
They had
Yeah.
to whitewash it.
But yeah, a lot of history there. A lot of history with the Marine Corps barracks and all of that. And if you go to the barracks, you've been to the barracks.
Mhm.
They look whoever built it and retained it, maintained it over the years, did a really fine job because it's a beautiful facility inside and out.
Well,
You know.
Jefferson had a lot to do with it when he turned around, took the commandant, and they selected that site.
Oh, okay. So, well, it's at the corner of 8th and I Streets in Washington, D.C. That's why they call it 8th and I. And, but anyway, it's the sharpest. Oh, you see the silent drill team. That's where they're from. The Marine Band is out of there. The marchers, the people that attend the funerals and so forth at Arlington, with the Marine side, that's where they're located.
President's home.
The president's own musical band and marching group and so forth. His guards are out of there as well, I believe. The guards at the White House.
Marine that has anything to do with the White House is based right there.
Right. So very important facility.
And then their downtime is those Marines do a lot of the testing of the Marine Corps Institute courses. They help with the development courses, but also especially the troops, they actually have them take the courses to see if they designed the right course before they send it out to the fleet.
Oh, so it's like a testing facility as well.
Oh, how many times, how much marching can you do? The ceremonial platoon goes out to Yuma, Arizona every February, and they'll spend like 11, 12 weeks out that way, all day long marching. In that, because, well, it's not as hot then, but it's freaking hot anyway.
Yeah.
But it gets to the point that they can close their eyes and they know exactly every move that they have to do.
Wow. Yeah, pretty fantastic stuff.
Mhm.
Great location. Good place to go. They do a show on the at the Marine Barracks. What is it? Friday night? The Friday night ceremony.
And then
So-
they do one at the at the memorial on Wednesday night or Tuesday.
That's right. a Tuesday night at the memorial, and there is another one. There's one at the memorial. That's Tuesday night, and they do the one on the mall, or not the mall, but the Marine Barracks on Friday night.
Mhm.
And I think there's one more though. There's another.
Should only be two.
Okay, I'll have to call that corporal. Find out what because I know when I was planning on going out there, I called this corporal at the desk, and I asked, "Hey, is there a possibility we can get a tour of the commandant's residence, which is right there, Faith and I?" And he goes, "That's possible, but COVID and so forth, that was back during those days." So he says it's possible. So any chance we can bump knuckles with the commandant? No, I don't think so. But you never know, right? You know, so
Never
don't
hurts
give
to
up.
ask.
Don't give
Never
up.
hurts.
The worst thing they can do is say no.
Never know whose knuckle you'll bump into. So
Well, yeah.
Out of curiosity for the listeners and viewers out there, for the events that you guys put on, is there a location where they can go find a calendar date or a list of events that are coming up to help support you guys?
You know
There's
what?
the man right there that does calendar.
I keep up the calendar, and if you go to www.mchenrycountymcl, that's euphemism for Marine Corps League, if I use the right term there, .com. So it's McHenryCountyMCL.com, and then go to the events, and you'll see the calendar. Go on there and fish through the calendar. Take a look, because all of our events, our parades and things like that are on there.
And speaking of an event, don't we? Isn't there something going on tomorrow?
Yes, actually.
When you called me up when I was just waking up.
Yeah, it's very interesting.
You do it.
What's up?
Told me you said yes.
Oh, you're
Yeah,
answering
he's
for me?
gonna go. Yeah, he's gonna go. So
As long as I can get to Costco by 1 o'clock, because I got to get my tires done.
Oh, he's got to do it one.
it's
It's at 1?
yeah, it's at 1:30, and
No, it's not.
Yeah.
I'm serious as a heart
Oh,
attack.
you may have
It's
to
at
find somebody else
1:30.
then.
No, go, man. You do your tires later.
I can't. Already paid for them.
Oh,
It's about $1,000. No.
story of my life. Off
Hey,
again, on again.
Lieutenant General Walsh is going to be there.
Yes, Lieutenant General Robert S. Walsh, former Assistant Commandant of the Marine Corps, was worked out of the Pentagon, I believe, and he was relieved of his command. Another guy when they changed the flag by General Berger, our last commandant. So, but he was in charge of apparently combat planning and training, and so he was quite the VIP. He was also an advisor to Congress and so on for how to get the best boom, the economic side of it, best boom for the buck for your investment in military spending and so forth. And right now he runs I don't know if it's a foundation, but it's
It's a
certainly a
company.
consulting group that does that on a global basis, globally. And I went, wow, that's pretty slick. So he's going to be here locally, and we're going to be sitting at his table for lunch.
Well, it looks like I'll have to call Costco and I'll see if I can move
Oh.
my.
I'm sure they'll
Date.
do that.
Well, that's what I'm
I'm
thinking.
sure they
Do you want to sit with the general, or you want to change your tires?
Well, I mean, I want to drive safe, but I think I can move that to a Saturday. Or
Yeah,
something.
that's what I'm
Or
thinking.
later in the day.
If they got openings, but I'm sure I can make it happen. So
Yeah.
I'll call them up so I can bump knuckles with the generals.
Well, that's what I'm thinking. Let's bump up.
That way you can keep him from getting excited.
I'll be like, pinch him in the leg or poke him in the leg with a fork. Like, stop talking.
No, I would say, hey, General, guess what? You know who we are? A mile a minute.
General,
Oh my God! Hey,
Pick me.
In other words, somebody needs to be the adult.
Yeah,
Right.
somebody needs a full. All right, Rick.
Renegotiate the Costco tire scenario.
I'll be feeling a warm fork hitting his leg.
Well, what he needs to do is go in his red shirt with it. Bullseye in the back saying, kick me.
Yeah. For you that don't know, I'm usually the center of what would you call that?
Of all jokes.
Yeah.
Yes,
Attention.
of all the jokes, the
The-
practical jokes, and you name
The
it.
BUTT of jokes.
The butt of the jokes. Yes. So here at these, we do red shirt Fridays. We wear a red shirt on Fridays. Remember, everybody deployed, and we have these functions. We'll stop in, have a meal. We'll bring our wives with us. It's great. and we'll have a beer and leave. We're there for an hour and a half or so. But usually there's a big discussion going around the table, all kinds of fun. And usually I'm the brunt. So one of the guys, it got so bad that one of the guys picked up or made a shirt, Marine Corps League emblem on the front, and on the back, great big target, with a red dot in the middle of it. And on the bottom, it says, "Just kick me." So I put it on at the bar one time, and I didn't feel comfortable at all because all these drunk guys in there, these bikers and everything else, you don't know who's going to kick you. So, if they kick you, what do you do then?
You kick them back.
Well, that's
You
so I
bounce.
you
You
bounce.
bump knuckles with them.
Well, at my age, I'll
You
fall
marine
down.
up is what you do.
Knife hand to the throat.
Yeah, you said a knife hand.
But what's bad? Do they ever say, "Oh, you pulled a rank"? Because it's bad if they
I'm
say
gonna
that.
start doing that.
Sorry.
Story of my life, though.
A Ricky Prickle. I actually stole that from a cheesy B movie. That's pretty gross, but it's called The Greasy Strangler. So, going to Ricky Prickle.
Though, for all veterans that might be listening out there, if you get a chance to gather up with a bunch of your buddies, do a couple of things. One, breakfast with your buddies, with the veterans. And we do a breakfast with Marines. It started off with maybe 3 people. Now we get like 13 or 15. And it's really popular at the restaurants we go to. And secondly, Red Shirt Fridays. Red Shirt Fridays is a great time to go socialize, shoot the breeze with your fellow veterans, and have a lot of fun. So I'm going to highly recommend that. Do it. Don't just talk about it. Actually do it.
I think we should do Sophie's tomorrow night.
Sure.
Sophie's,
Why
you don't have a
like it?
location picked yet?
No, so it'll be Sophie's.
Sophie's it is.
So with that one, we got a 3-star coming in. Now we got a 2-star coming in February.
Oh, yeah. General Lukeman. What's his first name? General
James.
James.
Lukeman. He's the CEO of the Marine Heritage Foundation, which is the National Museum of the Marine Corps. And he's going to come in and he's going to talk about some of the updates of the museum. And then he's going to also go tie in what's going on with the 250th anniversary of the Marine Corps.
Right.
And we're going to bring all the Marine veterans out from the woodworks that can make it, get a light lunch, get the reserve units and the recruiting station out there and talk about what they're doing, so that way everybody it's like a meet and greet type thing.
Well, I communicated that it's going to be held at, was it February 17th? Am I right?
Correct?
At Fort Sheridan and about 11 a.m. And we are telling, what I did was I communicated throughout what we refer to as 2nd District, 9 Marine Corps League detachments in our area. Also, I found out something to all of the district commandants throughout the state. And I think I threw something up on the state level. So get everybody in there as we possibly can. That would be a fabulous event to go to. So, but General Lukeman is what's funny is when we went out to, what was it, Quantico, Virginia, at that funeral, we stopped in at the Marine Corps Museum. And Jason and we'd never been to the museum. Mike had been there before. So we decided, we're going to go look at all the displays. And let me tell you something. If you've never been there, you got to go. If you're a jarhead, you have to go. I told a guy in the end, he asked me, one of the workers there, he goes, "What did you think of that?" Former military, and obviously he's a veteran. And I looked at him and I said, what's fun is every once in a while you sit at home and you look at your family albums, your photo albums and so forth. And you go back generations and you see your old great uncles and grandpas and so forth you never seen before. But you look at this and go, wow, it's like a family Bible. But that's the feel that I had, that we open up this book and we saw our history. And it's funny because we think that way. We can relate to every single generation. But anyway, while we're out there having that fun, Mike decides, I'll be right back. He disappears. So about an hour and a half later, we get back together and I says, where the heck were you? He goes, I was upstairs talking to the general. What general? And what does he do? He walks up and he goes right to his office. Hey, General, my name is Mike Ruffner. I'm blah, blah, blah. I'm from here. And next thing you know, they're making buddies. And I went, why didn't you drag us into that? That would have been funny. But I can imagine with the way I carry on talking things like that. That's probably why he said, "You guys look at the display. I'll go up there and talk to the general."
Well, and locked it on. He's coming out.
He's coming on, and so that was a good lock on, as far as I'm concerned.
Well, and
That's
how
beautiful.
I met him back in the springtime too.
Oh, you did meet him before.
Right.
Okay.
And he used to be the commanding general of the division I belonged to. So there was a common.
Second Marine Division.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. That's the division that nobody ever talks about because all they do is float around on boats. The rest of us, we train for battle on the ground, climbing them mountains and up in Casey Springs and climb. What do they call it? The Reaper. Now they call it the Great Reaper or whatever, the hill at Camp Pendleton. We used to call it something else.
Yeah.
But
Wait,
we were trained.
you were more
First Mardiv, First Marine Division Marines. We were it. We were the pride of the
until
Corps.
they say surfs up.
Just a second. Then we put on our sunglasses.
Did they ever say you ricked it up?
Story of my life.
Ricky Prickle pulled it up again.
Uh,
Strikes again.
Hey, what did you guys do for Veterans Day?
That was it.
That was it?
I mean, everything. Hey, Marine birthday, veterans. We wrapped it all in one.
Wow.
The event was actually open to anybody. So we had some people in other uniforms, and then we allowed them to stay.
Oh, nice. How nice of you.
Yeah.
well, you know what? On
We didn't
Veterans Day,
hose them.
on Veterans Day, something that we've done here for a few years now. Jason and I got together with a few other Marines. We got dressed up in our Marine Corps League dress uniforms, and we went over and visited Ignite, which is a nursing home. And in that nursing home, they had an event in their big lunchroom area involving veterans' families, and they pull out all the veterans, put them on a VIP table, and we issued out a certificate to them, a pin, those type of things. We cut a cake, etc.
Cake was pretty good.
Yeah, the cake was awesome.
Yeah, it's Costco. I was like, wow, this is great.
It was good.
Yeah, I was
Yeah.
quite surprised.
Oh yeah. So, but anyway, that's what we did. We
Well,
we
that's
did
awesome.
like a little ceremonial for them, and just to let them know. And what's interesting, I'm going to encourage veterans or veterans groups to do this type of thing because we've ran into some very interesting people. For example, one gentleman was in the U.S. Army, something like 101 years old.
Saipan
He fought alongside the Marines in the
was in Saipan.
Mariana Islands. I think it was Marianas in Saipan, and he in World War II. So then we bumped into this lady who was again 101 years old, and she was one of the very first women to join the United States Navy during that time as a female. Imagine that. And now they did certain types of work to freed up the guys so they can do their thing, but nevertheless, one of the first waves. And so we kept bumping into people. We bumped into this guy at this facility here. He used to be the cook for General George Patton. And from here in McHenry, he goes, yes, I was his cook. And so what was that like? Well, he was very finicky and nitpicky and so on.
Sounds about right.
Yeah. So, but anyway, those are the type of things that we have the option or the opportunity to have that kind of experience and rub elbows. But in the same token, here they are in a nursing home. And the favor that we gave them was that we let them know that here on Veterans Day, you are not forgotten.
Wow, that's awesome.
So that's what we did, and I feel really proud about that
You should.
kind of
Yeah.
endeavor that we do.
That's pretty good.
Yeah.
Cedric almost got bumped Saturday night.
Oh, really?
There was a Helen Locks lives in Naperville. She was supposed to go to their ball the week before, but she had fallen and she was on medication, and they're trying to get her to come to our ball. And I told the woman Marine, I think says time out, check to see before I turn around, jump through hoops, find out if she had the opportunity, would she come? And she backed up, but she's 101.
Wow.
She was on, there's 2 women Marines in Illinois that were World War II.
Wow. But what was an interesting? We had a breakfast, I think, yesterday morning with a group, and one of the things that one of the gentlemen said, he's in a position to know apparently, but just the McHenry County area alone, we had lost over the last year 12% of our veterans. Now, I don't know, he didn't get into the demographics of that. I mean, what age groups and so forth. but we lost due to passing away 12% of our veterans in this county
We're
alone.
moving out too.
No, he was specifically stating death.
Hmm.
That's what he was saying. So that's he wasn't talking about them moving to Florida and things like that. But that's what he told me. Ed.
Ed Chambers?
Yeah, Ed Chambers said that.
Hmm.
So that was interesting that we're losing those numbers, but we also know we're losing. 5-10 years ago, we were losing about 1,000 veterans of World War II a day, but apparently that number had gone. We almost gone as far as our World War II veterans, and now the Korean War veterans and so forth.
It'd be like 4 veterans a day.
Well, he mentioned to me that it was WW2, Korea, and Vietnam.
Yeah, but I mean, if you look at the newspaper, you might see 1 or 2 flags.
Yeah.
For the obituary.
Well, I'm not in a position to question him. I'm just thinking he's with the VAC. He ought to know. So I just took it at face value that he would be in a position to know. So, but that's what he said. That was interesting. So the point is, though, we're losing a lot of veterans, to whatever reasons and so forth, but we're losing them.
I know there's a fair amount moving down to Texas, Tennessee, and Florida as well.
Oh yeah. Wait till Sweetums retires.
Wait, you going to Texas?
Oh man, I'm gonna go to Florida or something like that. Crazy Florida. I'm gonna become a crazy Floridian.
So me, you, and then Tom Gillis, we could all get together and
Absolutely.
we'll drive him nuts in St. Petersburg.
Yeah, and Tom, he knows how to get a boat.
Yes,
Go
he
out
does.
deep sea fishing. He's done that 100 times.
Yeah, I met up with him in Jan, was it back last February? And there was like this pier restaurant, seafood joint or whatever. It was like completely hole in the wall type thing, but it was pretty damn good. So
Those are usually the best.
oh yeah, absolutely. There was a big old like pelican seagull thing sitting on the post there, and then as I'm eating, takes a big old dump right into the ocean there. I was like, all right, that's great.
No respect from the creatures.
No, at least it was white, not brown, like an offsetting color. So it looked like the
It's sour cream.
yeah, sour cream or
For your breakfast
what's
burrito.
that stuff that you dip in the seafood?
Cappuccino.
What?
Dip in the seafood.
Tartar sauce?
Yeah, there we go. Yeah. So much tartar sauce.
Homemade tartar sauce.
Yep.
God's tartar sauce.
But no, that
Nice.
that whole area there was really, really nice. So
One of the experiences I had about living next to an ocean, that's why I want to go back to an ocean, is that I remember one time sitting at an old place. It was called the Loft. It was like 200-year-old building. I mean, old, but now
That's
it's a
Folgers?
restaurant, and it's creaky floors and a whole 9 yards. And we're sitting out on the patio looking at this beautiful view over the ocean. And here comes this Boston whaler boat, about a 35-footer or something like that, pulls in. A couple of long-haired, hippie-looking guys get off of the thing, and I'm thinking to myself, yeah, a couple of dirtballs. And I thought about it, and I watched them, thinking got to be up in case they do something stupid. But no, they pulled a shark, a big blue shark, off their boat, dragged it across the deck, pulled it into the backside of the restaurant, and I went, "What the heck are they doing?" So I went inside the restaurant, and I was about 20 feet away when I watched these guys negotiate a price with the owner of the restaurant for that shark.
Huh.
And I walked over once he pulled out his money, gave it to the guys. Off they did a receipt. And I walked over to the restaurant owner and said, "That's a shark?" He goes, "Yeah." "How do you cook that?" He goes, "Whichever way you want it." "Huh,
shark is
I said,
fantastic.
"Can I have a piece of that?" And he cuts a big steak off that shark. He goes, "Go have a seat." I ordered my shark fresh out of the ocean, and you can't do that experience here. There's no way you can have that experience here.
Well, I mean, you're in Illinois, so there's no sharks floating around in Great Lakes over there. So, but when I was in Hawaii, that was the first time that I encountered shark, and one of my buddies had an apartment on base with his now ex-wife of many years. So we'd all go over there and bring beers and all that good stuff. We'd either go to the commissary. I think it was the commissary where they would actually have like shark fillets and all. I'm like, oh, it's pretty interesting. So we'd spend like $100 because $100 would get you a lot of food back then. Now it's like a couple things, but
That's one of the things too, is when we talk about down there by the Carolinas.
Yeah.
You can get flounder. You can get, when the shrimp is running
Right.
in August, you get a bushel full of shrimp.
Yep.
clams. Oh my yards. It's
Yeah.
Well, what's really neat here is several years ago, probably about 15, 16 years ago or so now, went out to Lake Michigan on one of the charters out there. We caught a bunch of salmon. And on our way back, and we pulled into Waukegan, the captain goes, "What are you going to do with those salmon?" After he chopped them up and he made fillets out of them and so on. And we said, "We'll go home and eat them." Just tell you what, boys, go over to that restaurant right up there. And I can't mention the name just in case the FDA is listening. But he goes, "Go up there and you tell them Captain so-and-so sent you there and he'll cook those salmon up for you." No.
Damn.
So we went in and we took one of the fillets out. He kept a fillet out for each of us.
Oh.
Each one had a fillet in our own separate bags. We put the rest of them in coolers, went inside, and the guy charged us like about $15 to do that. And on top of that, what he did was we had a beer and we had mashed potatoes and green beans, that sort of thing with it. But he cooked up and he asked me, "How do you want that cooked?" He goes, "I saute it, I French sauce, and you name it. And this one here will be grilled." And I said, "All four." So he chopped my big piece up into 4 different pieces, and I had 4 different ways of salmon. It was one of the best meals I ever had. But we had that here. So that was a similar experience to what I had living out on the ocean. That's pretty darn cool.
I didn't know salmon was in Lake Michigan.
No, we got the coho. You got lake trout out there, big ones, big fish. I'll show you pictures.
Sure.
It's just mutated trout.
Yeah.
We call it
Growing an eye out of my forehead and eat it in The Simpsons. 3-eyed fish.
just with Rick is get something next to that picture to compare it to.
Right.
A fisherman story.
Now wait a minute. Now that's my sister accuses me of that. I learned something about photographs.
You take a picture real close up like that, like, oh man,
No.
the fish's huge, and it's like
What you do is you hide your arm behind the fish and you hold the fish out toward the camera. It looks twice the size it is.
right, because you're getting it real close to the camera.
And the camera doesn't pick it up that you're pulling it out there. And so you got to hide your thumbnail because otherwise you've got a big thumb.
Right.
Everybody's like, "Why is Rick holding the bait so close to
Right.
the camera?"
I mean, look at this beauty. Oh, there's a thumbnail sticking up there.
Oh man. My sister is so terrible. She had one of these little action figure toys about yay big, and she took a minnow and put it next to it. And of course, the action figure, it looks like half the size of the action figure. And she took a picture of that and she goes, "This is Rick. This is what he does. This is the pictures he takes." And I went, "What?" Because it looks like the fish as big as he is, kind of thing. Anyway, story of my life.
Yeah.
I'm not a liar when it comes to fishing, though. I can tell you right now, I always tell the truth. My fish are, I catch a lot of them. And I catch big fish. Why'd you clear your throat?
Uncomfortable silence.
You got to go fishing with me.
Went fishing last year. We went up to Crystal Lake, 3 Oaks or 2 Oaks, whatever it is. But anyway, it's one of those you got to catch and release things. So I caught a pretty good size one, and from the ground to my kneecap. And I threw it back in, and of course, first thing Rick says is, "Hey, did you take a picture of it?" I says, "No, I haven't lost my mind yet. I can remember what it looks like."
Well, you need proof,
For what?
Well, you
gotta
need
throw it
proof because
back.
everybody always says to me, "You don't catch anything."
Lake to go in. You got to throw the damn fish back. If I was going to take it home, I wouldn't have to worry about it. It's like, where are you going?
My wife, her family would go to Canada every year and go muskie hunting, right? And she would catch like giant fish all the time. And my father-in-law, because it was too big for her to hold, he held it for the picture. What do you think he's saying to all of his friends, right?
Oh, about
You're
him.
like, "Oh, look what I caught." I'm like, "Yeah, okay. Next time, I don't care if you're falling down, you're holding that."
I get accused of that too. Whose fish did you borrow to take that
Right.
picture? What? I can't
He has
believe
a
that.
rubber fish.
Right.
Eisenhower actually went up to this. There's a hotel right there on the Michigan, Wisconsin border in Land O'Lakes, and my grandmother happened to catch the world record muskie that year, and of course all those people around him trying to get a picture so he could show a big fish, and
Right.
my grandfather ran him off and says, "Get out of here!"
Well, what's cool is what Mike was talking about shortly ago when we were talking about fishing out at this lake, catch and release and so forth, was an event that was put together by one of our own, Tom Gillis, It was take a vet fishing type of thing. And this was the Marine Corps League's version of that, where we got I forget how many people, a dozen.
A dozen.
Yeah, I'd say about a dozen veterans. And the city of Crystal Lake, they normally charge for parking. They normally charge for $20 an hour or something like that for the boat. They gave it to us for free. They just and that was just super awesome. And we ended up having pizzas, some pop and beer and things like this under the pavilion. And we also had breakfast before we went out on the boats and all that. So we had some donuts.
This at the Three Oaks Center.
Yeah, Three
That's
Oaks
a
Center.
gorgeous center.
Yeah, it was
Really
fantastic.
nice over
So
there.
the city treats us well, and the mayor invited us in one time to do at a one of their meetings. They invited us to come in and do this Pledge of Allegiance
Oh, nice.
and in uniform and things like that. So we have a really good working relationship, partnership, if you will, with the city of Crystal Lake, and I just admire that.
Yeah,
You know.
Chicago Police Marines put on a big event up there in Antioch as well.
Oh yeah,
They have a large group. They'll show up 4 a.m, go out fishing, and then they do their prizes around 1100, and then people
Right.
go back out and fish some more. And at the end of the day, they're having a barbecue and drinking beer. You know, the Chicago cops, they call it coming up to God's country because it's getting out of Cook County.
Right, right.
Yeah, but that's an awesome event. I went to one. I didn't go to the one this year. I went to one last year, and that was really well organized. The food was fantastic, and you got to rub elbows with everybody
And
there.
They donate a crap load of money
Yeah, they do.
to a lot of veterans and cop related events.
Oh, and with foundations and so forth, you know, so they support injured police officers or families that lost their family member and this and that. So that's a pretty darn good organization. The Chicago Police Marines, you can't beat them. Hats off to Paul Zog and his crew out there. That's great group of people. They take care of people.
Yeah, he works on the cover, you know.
Night is Blues cover. Good job.
You ricked it up.
Yeah,
We had Paul here one
Ricky
time.
Prickle.
We had Paul here one time.
But he was
Bullseye.
undercover. You didn't know that he was here because he was undercover.
He didn't look like he was undercover.
Oh, he was. Night is Blues cover.
Well, story of my life. But, you know, speaking of that, though, you know, you go back and you take a look at the shows that we had here over the past, when did we start this? Back in
months.
February or so?
Yeah.
Yeah. And we've had some really amazing people here. We had Phil Sweeney that talked about VA benefits and how to get VA loans and so on. And his being a banker and actually doing that sort of thing, he had inside knowledge that most people don't have. And good Lord, who else we had? We had Mr. Phelan, 285 rescue missions as an airman, choppers and so forth in Vietnam. My goodness, we had Martinez, Patty Klopp, Colonel, United States Marine Corps. She was here, talked about her story, which was fascinating.
Jeff Bruce from the Army,
Yes,
the conflicted Marine.
the
in
conflicted
Saudi
Marine. He
Arabia.
was once a Marine, and now he's a Master Sergeant, United States Army. And so I don't know why he got confused, but I don't know. That happens every once
Maybe
in a
better
while.
food.
No, I think it's something they drank.
Probably.
You know,
The
so
Lejeune water,
it's,
maybe.
it's like TMI they call it, or TBI.
Yeah, TBI, traumatic brain
Yeah, he
injury.
hit his head on something. So, but he's doing a lot of super good stuff with this company. He was talking about finances and so on. Who else did we have? We had Martinez.
About Beirut.
Yep, talking about Beirut, his experience in Beirut, Lebanon, back in 1983. And wow, man, you think back on the last year, we really did cover a lot of pretty fascinating, awesome topics. That I really do believe that Roger That Chronicles is really provided a pretty darn good service to veterans throughout, no matter what branch.
And they should look, you know, they want to find out, they need to go to Spotify and YouTube and some of our past episodes and
Yep.
share it. Share it with other vets that might get something out of it.
You know,
What was
that's
the
important.
the museum?
Oh, that was Wojo and Major what's his name? U.S. Army, and Wojo was one of the Marines. It's the Chicagoland Veterans Museum, or combined Chicagoland Combined Veterans Museum, and they did a super bang up job. Go take a look at their website. That is an awesome museum, and they connected with the community. They got a lot of community support.
New reenactments and stuff too.
Yeah, the reenactment side of it as well, man. It's just awesome stuff. So I don't know. We had a lot of fascinating, interesting people on board here, and I'm really proud to be a part of this program for that reason. We're pulling in some great people.
Folks, if you want to check out some past episodes of Roger That Chronicles, Rick, where can they find you?
Well, they can find us on 216 The Net. You can inquire Roger That Chronicles on YouTube, Spotify. Spotify is a great place to go. You can actually, if you're driving your car, you can link up your speakers on your vehicle and just listen to it as you're driving down the road. I do that all the time. And who else?
Don't you got to warm up the transistor radio first, though?
Yeah,
In his car. Yeah.
Well, I got this little monkey in the back
Just
seat.
crank
Just
in the
going
front.
crank,
Crank in the front, right?
I've got the trunk monkey. It just cranks it and keeps it going. As it's,
That's a white
thought
faced
it was
capuchin
Laura.
monkey, by the way.
Back to Laura, I can hear it.
Right.
Yeah, I can see her now. Yeah, they ain't happening.
yeah. And on our website too, we're in the process now at the McHenry County MCL.com. We're in the process now of loading the YouTube links on a special page that for Roger That Chronicles there. So you can also find it there. So, but that's in the works right now. That's what I'll be doing.
So if there's veterans out there that would like to talk to you about being on the show, how would they reach out to you?
Man, I don't want to give out my phone number.
He accepts phone
but
calls
my
at
phone
midnight.
number is
How about an email address?
McHenry County MCL at gmail.com.
bingo.
Yeah.
So if you contact us that way, if you're interested in coming on board and being interviewed, telling your story, if you've got a service related item that and mind you, the whole premise of this program is to serve veterans, to give them information, to motivate, and tell our stories, and you name it. It's about veterans. So if you're interested in becoming part of that, by all means, get in contact with us via email. We'll vet the issue, and we'll get you here. We'll get you on board. And you don't have to necessarily be here as well. All we have to do is send you an internet link via email or text or something, and you can get on board, and we can do it video. Yeah. So think about the background, things like. But anyway, it's easy. It's easy to get on board.
And just be aware, we're going to screen you. We can't have just anybody coming out.
No stolen valors. Nothing.
Yeah.
Nothing like that.
Yeah,
You will be vetted. Yep.
exactly, and that's an issue. So
Oh, it's a big issue.
Yeah.
You guys should dedicate a show on that and how bad it is.
We should bring a stolen valor in here and just kind of rough up a bit.
Yeah,
we're gonna make an example out of you.
Just play the cards like he is, and then when he's not on camera, just
just start
berate him.
Take some hot coffee right in his face.
Yeah, we almost had one.
Yeah.
We actually interviewed one, and then we
won't push out names. We won't push out names.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna push names when I'm like,
but his initials are no.
Right. What he looks like.
Yeah. So we deleted that show. We got rid of that.
Yeah.
So we weren't gonna let that happen.
I was actually proud of myself because I was running that show. Actually, no, Phil was here too.
Yeah.
But yeah, I was hosting.
That was a good show.
It was a great show, and then all of a sudden,
Sure.
got to get rid of it. Shit.
Well,
Well, there's a big event going on Saturday morning for any veteran that wants to get out and get some old SOS. Is that the Lake County Marines and the American Legion Fox Lake at 07:30. They're going to have an SOS breakfast with scrambled eggs. They're going to do a cake cutting, and they're going to collect toys for Tots. And it's right there on Route 12. You can't miss it.
Yeah.
Go over the bridge. You'll see a big sign that says American Legion. They'll be there roughly from 7:30 in the morning till roughly 1100.
Yep.
If you stay there long enough, you can go over to the bar and keep the day going. And if the wife gets pissed, she'll find you.
Yep.
And it costs $12 to get in for a plate, and if you bring a toy, throw it in a box, it's $8. So they knock off like $4.
What if you bring like 3 toys? Is it free then?
Still,
I'll let them ask for. I'll let
I'm
let
just
them
being
answer
smart.
that. You know?
If you bring 3 toys, you get free barbecue from Simplified Barbecue.
Perfect.
And
And I'll be
There you
doing
go.
I'll be doing lines.
You've
of,
been raped.
barbecue.
Well, the other side of this too is that I mentioned a little while ago about business partnerships and so forth
Mhm.
between this podcast group as well as our veterans group and so forth. But you had done an event with I think it was Volo, the Volo Auto Museum.
Yeah.
They
Yeah.
gave you a call and they say, "Hey, we need a cookout here."
Yes,
So-
they did. Yeah, it was kind of spur of the moment. I was actually driving home from somewhere, and I get a call. And at first, I turn it down because I'm like, "You want to do this tomorrow?" And then I'm like, "You know what? No, there was another, not vendor, but another organization over there called Support Our Stigma. They were, doing veteran suicide awareness type stuff."
Mm.
So I'm like, you know what? No, I should probably do it. So then set up shop over there. And then luckily I got one of my younger Marine buddies to come out, roughly around my age, to help sling out some barbecue over at the Volo Auto Museum, talk to the organization, and then kind of bumped knuckles with some of the people over at Volo Auto Museum there. And,
Yeah.
And they donated some money to our balls.
That's
So
awesome.
Yeah.
for that.
And what's cool about that is that
They're a bunch of great guys. Over
Yeah.
Well, I'm going to throw out a message to the business community in a general sense, and it's I said the same thing to Jim at the marketing manager director at Volo, is that if you need us, that is the Marine Corps League, if you need veterans, if you need this podcast group to come out and support you at whatever endeavor you might do, I don't care if it's a ribbon cutting ceremony, if it's raising the flag or having a patriotic day. We can enhance that patriotic day by bringing over perhaps a color guard, a bugler. We can wear uniforms, things like this. There's not a lot we can do in a general sense. However, we could come over and help you as a business partner in our community and as a member of our community to come out and make your event all that much better, and throw some patriotism in there. So that's that's a big message for us as veterans. This is the type of thing that we do. We continue to serve our community. That the loyalty that we have for our country, our nation, it also goes down to our community and everything else. We want to be a part of the community process, and we want the community to know us and to support us too. So that's awesome.
Yeah.
All right. Well, it seems like it's kind
wrap up
of
time.
getting close to that time there. So
Is it something I said?
yes.
Yeah.
Yep.
And anything else you might
Get
There
it.
you go, buddy.
It's
I
getting
That's
a
what
little,
we're talking about.
it's getting a little musky in here
I'm
too.
telling you right now. Speaking of musky, I caught a
Oh,
musky.
here we go, fish.
I said musty, not musky.
I'm not a liar when it comes to fishing.
That
That's my last
concludes
message.
Roger That Chronicles.
Right. Anyway, so if you like what you hear, please hit the subscribe button, bell notification, all that good stuff and subscribe to the YouTube channel. Also helps out with the algorithm. And check us out on Apple, Twitch, Twitter, Spotify. Pretty much, I think I hit them all. I want to thank 216 The Net and our producer behind the camera over there, Drew. How do I say it? Cassio?
Just call me Cappuccino.
Drew
Cappuccino.
Cappuccino.
That's right.
Drew
Hey, how you
Cappuccino.
doing?
That's it.
I got 5 fingers, but I use tree.
How you doing?
And yeah, we hope you like what you hear. So, and
Well, we look forward to seeing everybody again on December the 7th. We do not have a special guest assigned on that date.
we're always a special guest.
Well,
Us 3 are special.
well, he is. He's very special.
Yes, I
Got a bus. Anyway, we will see you on December the 7th. We look forward to it. You guys have a wonderful day, and thank you for being here. If you like what you saw or what you hear, please sponsor us. Please hit that subscribe button. All of that. We'll see you then. Take care.
And if you're a veteran, get out there and get with American Legion, VFW, AMVETS, Marine Corps League, Fleet Reserve Association, Fleet. Let's see, Navy. There's a bunch of crap. There's an
Google it.
organization that's a vet somewhere for you.
Support your vets, folks.
Right.
Support your vets.
You bet.